Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Boy, I'll tell you what. I sure hope you had a fantastic weekend. Weekends go by way too fast. It doesn't matter if you're working or retired, they seem to go by pretty fast in my estimation anyway. Well, guys, the world is absolutely going crazy. The things that are going on are just absolutely insane. I mean, here you got this whole distraction event with what's going on with Trump and all of that, when the real deal that's going on over here is absolutely insane. And this is what we really need to pay attention to. So I was reading an article today. Japan has just gone out there and bought a ton of Russian oil and breaking faith with all of their allies. And get this, guys, they paid over what the market value of it is. They paid more than market value to get it. And why is that? Well, guys, the second article explains it all. Saudi Arabia has just announced a major reduction in the production of oil and not making it available to the West the way it has been in the past. And get this, guys, we know that Saudi Arabia right now is out there and they're willing to sell their oil outside of the US dollar. And this is causing major deals around the world. And recently, of course, that article that we talked about last week, where France actually made a major purchase of liquid natural gas from the United Arab Emirates, and they paid for it in Chinese yuan. I mean, you cannot make this any plainer. The petrodollar is absolutely dead. Now, guys, think of it in this capacity. All of this money printing that the Federal Reserve has done has been to satisfy demand outside of the U.S. borders and supplying that cash as the world reserve currency to all these other nations around the world. Now, when you see that demand is no longer there for those U.S. dollars, and on top of that, you got oil being able to be purchased outside of the U.S. dollar, all those dollars, guys, are going to come back, and it's going to come back in a tsunami wave. And you are going to see hyperinflation like we have never, ever seen before. It is going to be insane. And look, the tsunami hasn't hit us yet. That's the only thing. But the wave is on the way in. And you literally can see all of the cracks being exposed. And this deal with Japan buying that Russian oil, that is a major crack being exposed in, all this armor of the West, right? All this supposed solidarity. And there you got France paying for liquid natural gas and Chinese yuan. I'm telling you, it is going to hit home, and it's going to hit home hard now. I read another article this morning having to do with McDonald's. Get this. So McDonald's is actually has shut down in order to, in their corporate offices, in order to prepare for what, guys? Major layoffs in the United States. You are talking about one of the most biggest fast food companies in this nation paying out minimum wage. And one of the cheapest places that you can go out and actually get a hamburger or fries or take the kids and stuff like this. And now they're talking about major layoffs. I'm telling you what, you are literally seeing it hit. It's hitting the economy fast. Why? Because all these big corporations, they can see what's coming and they're getting out ahead of the game, so that when it absolutely hits, that it doesn't impact them to the same degree. Now, guys, having said that, I want to say this. Please, and really hear me in this, because my heart is really out there for you. I don't want to see any of you get hurt in the capacity that a lot of people are going to feel this pain. Go out there and make sure that you have, a little extra food, a little extra of the things that you need. Look at even up the shampoo and things like that, a little extra of all these products than you normally would get. And it might be a wise idea to keep a little cash on hand at home, because I'll tell you, I think what you're going to see next is monetary controls as to how much you can take out daily. And it's going to be worse than what people even imagine. Remember this, guys, in terms of the actual cash that you can hold physically versus what's on deposit here at these banks in the U.S. that are failing, by the way. In fact, being reported that over 150 banks are about ready to collapse and needing to be consolidated in the larger banks. Think of this. Only 6% of the funds on deposit can be held in physical currency. Think about that. And when you're having to deal with monetary controls where you're not allowed to spend so much and your point of sale and they're controlling what's in there and how you can access and what you can use it for, I'm telling you, you're going to see a situation like we have never seen, and it is going to be bad. And get this. Imagine when they're starting to remove cash from banks so branches won't even have cash in them and reducing the number of ATMs where you can get cash. What does that help them prevent, guys? Helps them prevent runs on the bank as well, doesn't it? Because what's the point of running down to your bank when you can't take anything out? And they can place capital controls through your debit cards and your credit cards as to how much you can actually access and use at any given time. I'm telling you, as sure can be, if they don't do something and do it fast, you are going to see this happen in a big way. And the FDIC is literally going to come out there, and it's going to happen on a Friday. Mark my words. Write it down. Stick it on the fridge. I am telling you, it will happen on a Friday, and they will introduce capital controls because they cannot guarantee all those deposits, and it's going to cause a big panic. And watch and see when it happens. The dominoes are already falling. And anybody that has their finger on the pulse of the financial world can see what's coming. And guys, after that, they're going to let us feel a little pain. That's my belief. Then they're going to come in and introduce, their plan, their great reset, whatever you want to call it, the switch is being flipped, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to happen. And at that point, you're going to watch central bank digital currencies come into play, and you're going to see a rescue in a situation. The very people that had actually caused the problem, that started the fire, that caused the house to burn down, are the ones that are going to show up with the hoses to, save the day and put out the fire. But believe you me, this has all been an orchestrated plan right from day one. I do not believe it. Why? Because I was a part of that financial world for a very long time as a federal officer in the Tax Department of Canada for almost 25 years and at a very senior level position in there. And I'm telling you right now, one of the most audited industries there is the financial industry. And you can't tell me that they did not see this coming from a way out. That's for sure. So what I'm saying there, guys, is do something to protect yourself. Have a little bit of those things around, at least enough for a couple months, I'd say, in order to just kind of float through this, because it is going to cause a lot of pain. At least that's in my opinion, my estimation. And, I don't want to see any of you get hurt and in that capacity, but we're all going to feel it, guys. We are all going to feel this. That is for sure. And pretending like it's not going to happen, or, oh, well, it's not a big deal. Loss of petrodollar status, loss of world reserve currency status, that is a massive deal. You don't have to look so far down the road. You just have to look at what happened in Venezuela, the world's fourth largest oil producing country, and look what took place down there. I'm telling you, don't kid yourself. It can happen here. It can. Do we want it to happen? Of course no one wants it to happen. No one's looking forward to that kind of pain. But the reality is it's on the way. And if you're wise, a wise person sees trouble coming and then makes preparations. Now, having said that, I want to say just one last thing about that. We don't live in fear. And none of us should ever live in fear. I'm reminded of a, Sunday school story, actually. They're the disciples had gotten into a boat with Jesus, and they were, going across the, Sea of Galilee, I think, or something like that. Needless to say, this massive swell just, came up, and, they were just absolutely terrified. Well, by and by, Jesus was in the boat with them, but he was sleeping, and they go up to him and they say, "Lord, don't you care what's going on here?" And, he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he says to them, why are you so afraid, you of little faith? He says he rebuked the winds and the waves and the whole place calmed down and all that and stuff like that. And I've heard people say, in situations where there's a big storm like that, sometimes God calms the storm. Other times he calms his child, right? Calms us. And that's how we need to live, And I think it's kind of interesting that when we go through crises like this, the natural reaction is to absolutely panic. But the thing is this, look, this is our journey. It's not our destination. No matter what happens, hey, you're a believer, you got someone holding you in his hands. who, I don't know what tomorrow holds in that capacity, but I love this statement. I know who holds tomorrow. Now that's at least my constitution. You may not hold that. That's fine. But I'll tell you what, when the rubber meets the road and the world is going in, where we can see having going down, you're definitely going to want to put your faith somewhere. And my recommendation is have peace. Have peace. Don't let yourself fall into that fear and panic. Get prepared. Do what you can do. And then trust. Leave the rest in God's hands. At least that's how I feel. Anyway, guys, I hope you're having a fantastic Monday. And I'll tell you what, we got a great video planned later on today. And until then, I sure hope you're going to have a good day. And don't let all this just get you on the inside and be like a cancer to your soul. Just use wisdom and be prepared. And until later on today, have a great one and take care.